Warning, the following podcast contains spoilers. So if you don't want to know that David Copperfield's female assistant is the killer Kenny, stop listening now. Also, David Copperfield sticks a cigarette through a quarter. How'd he do that? I'm still trying to figure it out.
The International House of Horror.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the International House of Horror podcast, a low-budget podcast for low-budget horror movies. I'm your host, Rocco, aka the Mad Pancaker, and across from me is none other than my co-host, Scary Perry.
Hello there.
How you doing over there, Scary Perry?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Ready to dive into this week's hotcakes?
Yes, sir.
So first off, I'd like to lead it off with just recently, within a few days ago of this recording, the actor and stuntman George P. Wilbur passed away. As you know, we just talked about him a couple episodes ago in our Halloween 4, the Revenge of Michael Myers review. Sad day for the horror community. He's done a lot of stunt work and acting in the industry. I believe he played Michael Myers in the following 2 entries as well, if I remember correctly. I know he definitely played him in part 6 because I saw people talking about how they liked him in 6 and all their tributes to him online. So very unfortunate that we lost another horror icon. So
rest in peace.
Yep, rest in peace to George P. Wilbur, who, while his Michael Myers mask in number 4 wasn't the best, he did a pretty good performance with what he was given. Anyway, so I'll dive into some of my hotcakes real quick for the week. So I'll start off with some video games that I left out of my notes last time. They were in my notes, but I forgot to talk about them. So one kind of sort of horror-related video game I played a little bit. It's been out for a long time, but this game called True Fear Forsaken Souls Part 1. So I guess there's 3 parts altogether. It's like a point-and-click adventure with this like mystery horror element going on. It was pretty fun. I was looking for a game, I had an afternoon to kill where I didn't have anything going on. I'm just like, let's look at the store and see what's going on. And I found it on sale, so I'm like, I'll give this a shot. It was pretty fun, especially if you like those point-and-click puzzle adventures, getting items and solving puzzles and that type of stuff. And then for my birthday, actually, I've been meaning to talk about this, and I keep forgetting. So J-Bones got me, for the good old Xbox, he got me Zombie Army 4 Dead War, which is like this, what am I thinking here? It's this alternate World War II type story with Nazi zombies, essentially. Hitler brings about zombies, and, you got to fight Nazi zombies, and they're overrunning the world type deal. It's kind of like a Left 4 Dead clone. It's more third person over the shoulder than first person. There are first-person parts to it when you're aiming down the scope and everything, but it's a Left 4 Dead clone, so it's it's based on a solid franchise there. So game mechanics, you go from point A to point B, and then it usually a campaign ends in like a boss level, or where you're trying to, not like a boss level, well, sometimes a boss, but you're trying to solve like the final puzzle, kind of like in Left 4 Dead, where you had to like fill up the car with gas and stuff at the end of the campaign, and then that would lead into the next campaign. So pretty fun though. And then quickly touch on this next game, which I've been playing for a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. So Signalis, I think it's how it's pronounced. It's Signal and then Is. Not exactly quite sure how to pronounce it, but so it's this top-down 2D survival horror game, very much inspired by Resident Evil and especially the Silent Hill franchise, especially with the plot. And with item management, puzzles, it was a heck of a lot of fun. Very great game. It's also super weird. It's got like a Silent Hill 2 type plot where everything's super confusing and you don't know what's real or what's not real. And the setting is this like futuristic, it's a sci-fi horror, so it's this futuristic setting. It's got this obviously like the characters are stylized off of Japanese anime, but the aesthetic and theme is very German heavy. Like a lot of the stuff is in German for whatever reason, and it uses German words to describe things and naming conventions. So I don't know what the fusion of Japanese and German, what the reason for that was. I don't know if it was just a developer choice or if one of the developers from Germany and they like Japanese shit. Don't know. And in the future, you got these. It borrows a lot from a lot of different movies and stuff, because you got replicas They're like cyborgs and shit. And you play as a replica and you're trying to find this one human. But very creepy, very cool atmosphere. It's got a lot of great puzzle solving and backtracking like in Resident Evil and Silent Hill games. So I'm amazed that something exists like this where, holy crap, it feels like an actual old school survival horror game. And why can't our current survival horror franchises go back to this with actually decent puzzles instead of, hey, you found the thing, now keep going in a straight line and put that thing in this thing and you solve the puzzle. It's a lot of fun, so that's my video game hotcakes, so I'll throw it over to Perry. What hotcakes you got for me this week, Perry?
Oh, I subjected myself to watching Terror Train 2.
Oh, so you went for a ride on the Terror Train again?
For the third time. So, oh boy. I'm just kidding. This movie was, I don't know why I watched this. So anyways, so like it starts off with the, whatever, I don't know her name in the film, Alana, I think. Maybe.
The chick from the last one?
Yeah, whatever. The final girl. And she's doing like a, one of those like surgery rooms where the students watch or whatever overhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like the doctor watches you. She's getting ready to do some kind of surgical thing. And she starts having flashbacks of the kills from the last one. And she's like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
she
about.
Like she sees like her dead friend, and her dead friend's talking to her like, you failed me or something like that. So basically, it's about kind of her having PTSD. And then her like roommate encourages her to go back on the Terror Train because like her psychologist, Alana's psychiatrist, told her to face your fear, to get rid of your fear.
Mm-hmm. I'm
like, what the hell? So it's like a year later, and she convinces her to go. So there's no costumes, but there's a party still. And it has the same conductor aide girl. Because remember, the conductor was the guy's mom, who was the serial killer.
Yes.
But the aide, she's back and she's the head, whatever. But the party, they didn't know like what the party was, but the party's thrown by Pet because she's alive still in there. And then she's like this weird,
what a weird character to use from the original.
She's like there, and like the president's there, but this president is nowhere near as cool as the original pres.
Of course.
And it's weird. So yeah, Pet's like this vlogger or whatever. She's like doing all these like live streams, and then there's one kill where like her friend is live streaming, like she's like doing this thing like, oh, I'm about to get sex or something, and then somebody kills the guy because he actually somebody had a mask on, so the killer kills the guy and then goes in the room and she's live streaming, and it's like a death on live stream, but people don't think it's real because it's the anniversary of the Terror Train. Mm-hmm. Anyways, all these kills keep like happening, and so basically the killer was her psycho friend.
Okay,
that's it. Garbage movie. I don't know. There's some okay stuff.
I mean, you had to keep going. You started on the first part, so you had to keep going.
I should know.
That's.
I kind of like forget it. I have
all right. So.
Selective amnesia that I don't want.
Right.
I don't want to know.
So for my next hotcake, got belated Christmas gift from my brother here that he and his wife that they gave me. Toonie Terrors. So they're like it's a brand of horror themed characters from horror movies that are toon versions, so like cartoon versions. So he got me the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch 3-pack with the 3 trick-or-treaters. So you got the jack-o'-lantern, you got the witch, and then you got the skeleton. So all pretty cool looking. So you can check that out. Ooh, look at that. It's got cool art on the back and everything. So
that's cool. Are you going to get this signed by a certain somebody?
I don't think so.
All right.
But cool little addition. So what other hotcakes you got for me, Perry?
I'm fresh out.
You're fresh out of hotcakes? All right, give me 1 second to go grab this one because I forgot that it's over here.
He is now walking away. It's over there. What is that, a weird trunk? Why is there a weird trunk in this stupid restaurant? And then he's throwing stuff everywhere?
Sorry. I should have had
Is that Dolores' trunk?
I wasn't prepared. I should have had this over here already.
You shouldn't touch the junk in Dolores' trunk, dude.
I don't think anybody wants to touch that. But anyway, so over Christmas, I got my brother for Christmas from Black Site Studios, one of these laser cut model kits for the, they don't call it the Ghostbusters Firehouse, but it's essentially the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I've gotten other stuff from them before. They make a horror-related board game, miniature game called Don't Look Back. So they make a lot of like models and stuff for that. But they don't use the official name because they, you don't want to get sued. But
yeah.
So I got they call it the Helm House, but it's essentially Nancy's house from A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's pretty cool. a big Nightmare on Elm Street guy, so look forward to putting this together sometime. It'll probably take a little bit, but definitely looks cool. And they do other ones too, like they do one for the Nobi cabin from Evil Dead. They did the Michael Myers house.
Do you have to glue that with wood glue?
Yeah, you gotta glue it together and stuff, but it's all pre-painted, which is nice.
You know what I'm gonna say though? This is probably better than those metal ones.
Oh yeah, those things.
I got some tanks a few years ago, and I cut the crap out of my hands.
Yeah, those metal ones are super hard to work with. I don't like those ones either. I mean, to each their own if they enjoy them. So I figure that's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to putting together that. So you said you're out of hotcakes, so...
Yeah, that I can think of.
I'm going to run through these movies. So this last batch, I wasn't sure if it was going to come in time, but they finally came in. So we'll start off with this one that I picked up.
This one looks familiar.
Yes, so I knew this was coming out because I kept seeing it advertised online and everything from Vestron Video, and I'm like, Walmart sometimes gets in Vestron Video, and rather than order it online, I'm like, I'd rather have it just be a random Walmart pickup. I wasn't going to go out of my way to order it, but I'm like, let me check at Walmart, and sure enough, they had it. So it's from Vestron, Vestron Video. Yeah, probably. Yeah. The Silent Night, Deadly Night collection. So doesn't have the first two, of course, but it's the 3-pack of Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation, and Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker. Only the third one really has anything to do with the first two, but the fourth one has Clint Howard in it. Clint Howard's great as always. And then the fifth one, is, as we said, is the one with Mickey Rooney.
Yeah,
that he didn't know. Right, so it's pretty cool to have that part of the collection. So I now have all 5 of those films. Don't have the remake, but... So next up, from MVD Entertainment, they're like a DVD distributor. They sell DVDs. So they had an Arrow Video sale, so I picked up some Arrow Video stuff that I thought was cool, hadn't seen before, or was looking to add to my collection. So first up, we have Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. This is a 80s slasher, kind of a take on Phantom of the Opera, only with a mall setting. Not very musical, of course, but just, the premise of there's a phantom and he's hanging around in the mall and he's trying to protect this one girl that he's in love with. It's got a very early performances from Pauly Shore and Morgan Fairchild. Some early movies from them, obviously, in this low-budget 80s slasher movie, so... I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, though, Pauly Shore is now added to my list of asses I never wanted to see but did for males. He is in there, and I'm pretty sure that's... I didn't check to confirm if he was this character. I'm not over... I know who Pauly Shore is, but it's been forever since I've even watched a Pauly Shore movie that I forget what he looks like.
It's the Leaning Tower of Cheese.
It's him. I'm pretty sure it's 100% him. But I didn't bother to look up to match the characters, and I don't really remember the characters' names.
I actually like Pauly Shore.
Yeah, he's not bad. And then Ken Foree's also in it, which was when I was watching the trailer, I'm like, oh, Ken Foree's in it? It's a Ken Foree movie I haven't seen. I hope I pronounced his last name right. He's Peter from Dawn of the Dead.
Sounds French.
I did watch it. I'll talk about it in a little bit. My hot take on it, or hot cake. So next up, we have Girls' Night Out. So this is another 80s slasher. So this one stars Hal Holbrook. So obviously he starred in The Fog and Creepshow. It also stars his son, David Holbrook. Trying to see if Suzanne Barnes is in it. We'll read the description here for you, Perry, and we'll see if does this sound familiar a little bit. So, a scavenger hunt game is planned one night for the DeWitt University sorority. The game takes the girls from graveyards to belfries and from beds to bathtubs. The terror begins as one by one each girl is mysteriously murdered by a sadistic maniac. So that's pretty normal. But now, after each killing, the murderer telephones the local radio station and recites a clue to the disc jockey about the evil things he is doing to each girl. Sound a little bit familiar?
Yeah. It does.
So this is one I've heard about for a while, and I like Hal Holbrook and stuff, so I've heard good things about it too, so it's been one I've been wanting to check out. So I know this guy dresses up in the school's mascot, so if you look at the picture here, he's busting through this window, attacking this girl, and he's dressed up as the school's mascot, which is like this, I can't tell if it's like a bear or something, and it's got like knives for claws, so yeah, you can check it out.
Era does some sweet covers, so.
Yeah, so they're like alternate covers too.
This looks
so like the original cover I think is on the inside of the Phantom of the Mall one. So if you open it up, you can see the. Okay. Because I'm pretty sure you know how they do the new artwork stuff.
Okay.
So next up we have one that I've been wanting to see, and we tried watching this one time, but it wasn't dubbed, it was subbed. So I actually don't know if maybe a dub actually exists of it, but I do prefer dub over subbing. Just to, plus it's part of the fun of the Italian movie genre. So we have Lucio Fulci's The Black Cat, another one I've been looking forward to watching for some time.
I kind of remember.
We tried to watch it, but it was subtitled, and it's like, I don't feel like reading tonight type deal. So obviously big Lucio Fulci fan, so I've been looking forward to checking out this one for a while. And then last up, so I've seen this one before. It's a solid giallo. So from Dario Argento, The Cat O' Nine Tails.
Cat O' Nine.
So stars Carl Malden, and he plays a blind guy with his, I don't know if it's like his niece or something, his little niece, and he teams up with this one guy to solve a mystery because they over here attempt to blackmail a scientist. But a very good movie. Like I said, I don't know if it's my least favorite of his animal trilogy. I've watched Cat O' Nine Tails numerous times, whereas I've only watched The Bird with the Crystal Plumage and Four Flies on Grey Velvet once, so I'd have to watch those again to get a feel on what order I would rank them in. It's an okay giallo, but it's another one like the mystery. There's no like real good clues to solving the mystery, which is interesting. And then, so for my last physical hotcake, this was a random sponsored content buy. I was scrolling through and there was a sponsored content for Etsy, which I bought stuff from Etsy before, but so I saw this. I'm like, this looks pretty cool. Do I really want this? And I eventually bit the bullet. And so it's a horror movie logbook, and it's pre-printed up with like little entries so you can write in it and mark stuff down. Kind of nice for like marking stuff down, like if I'm just watching a random movie, especially for this format, for hotcakes and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So pretty cool. It's from at Artful Pixels, so you can find them on Etsy. Very cool product. So, there's a couple entries in here, so let's review them real quick. So I had to start it off right with a classic. So I started with A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original 1984, of course. So it's got little check marks so you can mark the genre. There are few criticisms. I feel like there's a few more genres that could be up here. Like there's no supernatural box. There is possession and haunted house and psychological and stuff, so I understand, but I feel like a supernatural checkbox would have been good, especially considering there's stuff like there's no witch checkbox, but there's vampires, werewolves, zombies, ghosts, and all that, and slasher and stuff, but there's vacation horror. I didn't know vacation horror was that big of a thing that it needed its own like genre sub-box, genre box. But I mean, you know what I mean, compared to like having a supernatural. So there's a little spot where you can write where you watched it from, who you watched it with, you put the date. So let's read some comments. You don't have too much room to put comments. Obviously, for Nightmare on Elm Street, I put Wes Craven's masterpiece slasher, perfect monster in the house theme, you can't escape your dreams, great effects and cinematography, and a very clever concept with you not knowing what's a dream and what isn't. So we'll, of course, come back to Nightmare on Elm Street at some time. So and then there's a check all that apply. You can check if you loved it, hated it, thought it was just okay, like the acting, if you thought it was scary, and you can circle whether it's worth rewatching. So, of course, it's worth rewatching. And, of course, it gained my coveted 5 pancakes covered with syrup because it's an all-time classic. One of my personal favorites. Up next in this book, so I got a couple of... I'll run through them real quick since I got this here. So I watched My Bloody Valentine, the original 1981, and I watched the unrated cut, of course. It's a Canadian Valentine-themed slasher. Minor Harry Warden killed for revenge. 20 years later, is he back? Well, slow at times. It's never boring, and it's got great effects and a decent red herring. Don Franks plays a sheriff. He's well known for his voice acting work. Plus, it's got a unique setting with the mine locale. Overall, I gave it 4 pancakes, and it's definitely worth rewatching. And be on the lookout because there may be a quick cake coming soon on the YouTube channel, so you can check me out on YouTube. I'm the Mad Pancaker. So unfortunately, we won't be doing a Valentine's-themed episode for the podcast, but be on the lookout on Valentine's Day because I'll have some themed stuff coming up. So next up, I did A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. So if you know anything about this one, like I said for the comments, I put strong gay subtext. While not as good as the first, with a more complex and slower plot, it's still an entertaining entry. And I'm a big guy on that every Nightmare on Elm Street through the first 6... Not counting the original, the theme of it is the dream killer, but has a theme based on dreaming and sleeping. So the theme for this sequel is sleepwalking, because Freddy kind of takes over him as he's sleepwalking. And it has a great pool party massacre. Overall, I gave it 4 pancakes. Like I said, it's not as good as the first, but it's a solid entry. For a long time, it was a very underrated entry. A lot of people thought it was like one of the lower of the first 6, not counting New Nightmare, because New Nightmare kind of starts things over, so I know a lot of people really like New Nightmare. But like comparing the first 6, that's a continuity. It kind of gets ranked towards the lower end by a lot of people, but it's since had a resurgence in its following and its appreciation for it. To be fair, I love all the first 6. So they're all highly rated for me, Freddy being my favorite slasher and Nightmare on Elm Street my favorite slasher franchise. So then the last up, we got a new one just recent here. So Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge.
Oh.
So obviously, just talked about that as an acquisition. So it's an interesting twist on Phantom of the Opera, as I wrote. Story can be dull at times, but it's got some decent kills and it's entertaining. Early appearances by Pauly Shore and Morgan Fairchild, as I said. It's got Ken Foree in a supporting role. And another film infamously filmed in the Mall of America. You can clearly tell. Which obviously, Chopping Mall was filmed there. A lot of other stuff. I think The Initiation was filmed there, not to be confused with Silent Night, Deadly Night for The Initiation. Overall rating, though, it's another solid slasher entry. No real, bells or whistles, but I like the Phantom of the Opera story. Probably not the best Phantom of the Opera modernization for the times. That might go to Phantom of the Paradise, which is another one that I'll have to check out sooner or later. But I gave it 3 pancakes overall. So that's the horror logbook. So real quick, we'll do a quick announcement. So obviously, you've probably been able to tell. So, originally we set out to do 2 podcast episodes a month, but fortunately have to cut back. Just a lot of other stuff on the plate right now. So we're pretty much just doing 1 episode a month. We're still going to do 2 for October for the Halloween season. Although there will be 1 review in October that isn't a Halloween movie because a certain other date falls in October this year that we also missed the boat on in January. Whoops. But that's okay. Plus, just to get some other time, like I said, I'm trying to do more stuff with the website, do more stuff with the YouTube channel, do some more quick cakes, and also been working on a novel a little bit, so need some time to work on that stuff. So just cutting back a little bit so I can work on some other projects because while it doesn't take long to record the actual podcast, with the editing and the note writing, it takes some time. That's the most time-consuming part. And with that announcement out of the way, got another announcement. This will be an annual tradition for the podcast. So way back in the day, I used to do on Facebook, for shits and giggles, for nobody for the 5 people who actually read my normal, regular Facebook page, I would do my top 10 quotes from movies I've watched throughout the year. I'm sure you remember those. Yeah. I picked out some real winners. There's a lot of... it wasn't always super great quotes, but it was off the wall, oddball quotes that are fun. So I figured, what a perfect place to bring that back, but for the podcast, right? So for all you listeners. So it's a perfect format. We can just take all the movies reviewed from last year, pick out 10 winners, and roll with it. So we have for 2022, the top 10 quotes from reviews from 2022. I did try and rank them here, so we'll start at number 10. So number 10, we have, and if I ever get good with sound biting and capturing stuff from audio, I can probably just grab these right from the movies, but for now, you're just going to have to deal with me imitating the characters. So we have, Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place, from the security guard in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Honorable mention, though, goes to anything Donald Pleasance says, because he's just fucking great. Plus, the preacher, his entire scene is just great, too.
What about the shoes? Wait,
yeah.
I think I have it.
You have it? Blue suede shoes?
Give me a second.
I chose this guy because I thought it was funny. Plus, I didn't feel like looking up any of the preacher quotes.
I have to have it in here somewhere. Give me a scary Perry second.
The other thing is some of these are going to just be completely out of context, so it's going to be funny.
Here, where is it? It's in here somewhere. Come on. Oh, wait. I saw it. Clara's breast in blue suede shoes.
Oh, Preacher was a fun character. So, number 9, we have Donkey Mud Wrestling. Kyle from Hobgoblins.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, this is going to be out.
So, honorable mention goes to his bit at the end of the movie where he's like, "Can I use your phone?" You need the context for that one, though. So, number 8, I wish I had a lifetime subscription to Penthouse Magazine. From Moss Garcia from Christmas Evil. Honorable mention going to Harry's speech about the tune. And you can hear it now. Number 7, has anyone seen my girlfriend? She's the one with the big caboose. Ed from Terror Train.
There you go.
We have an honorable mention to his another line of his. Did you say all aboard? They can't be bored. I haven't even started. Plus any other line this guy says because they're just all hilarious. So number 6. You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal, and the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween, the festival of Samhain, The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Red. So obviously, Conal Cochran from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And an honorable mention to Dr. Dan Chalice saying, "Who cares?" Number 5, so we're getting into some good ones here. Number 5, we have Time to Get Shit-Faced. From Mr. Sims from Silent Night, Bloody Night. Why did I put Silent Night, Deadly Night? Can't believe I put Bloody Night in my notes. Then number 4, we have It's Got a Death Curse. Crazy Ralph from Friday the 13th. Then we have number 3, another classic. Almost made it to number 1. These top 3, it was tough to decide the order, but it's not Cranberry Sauce. Terry from Blood Rage. And then number 2, we have, well, that's a sweaty palm. That's 2 sweaty palms. Let me feel you. That's another sweaty palm. Yes, sir. Hello, sweaty palm. Mo Rutherford from The Stuff. And number 1, the top quote from our reviews of 2022. And I fuck on the first date. Wink, wink, wink. April Fools. Nikki from April Fool's Day, 1986.
So I got a correction here.
You have a correction?
I might be wrong on Tier Train 2. Pet might be the killer. I don't
think anybody cares that much.
I don't think,
because everything I've heard that movie's
like
bad.
I think they accuse her psycho friend, but then it is actually. I'm trying to figure it out. And it doesn't, like, the internet doesn't care. It's just like there's reviews.
It's like this. The fact that you can't remember just means that's how forgettable the film is.
I know,
right?
But I feel bad like that. I should have remembered.
It's all right. They won't hold you accountable. So, anyways, time to get into today's review of 1980's New Year's Evil. So obviously this is an 80s slasher that's themed around New Year's. So it stars Roz Kelly. Is that Rose or Roz? How do you pronounce R-O-Z?
Probably Roz, yeah.
So Roz Kelly,
Raz.
Kip Niven, Chris Wallace. Do you think this is the Chris Wallace, like the news guy?
Probably not.
Okay. Grant Kramer, Louisa Moritz, Jed Mills, Taff O'Connell. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right. Edited by Dick Brummer. So what do you think of Dick Brummer's editing in this film, Perry?
It's pretty shitty.
What? I thought you would say.
I do like Dick. Not this Dick. This Dick's not for me.
We got director of photography, Edward Thomas. Music supervision by Rex Deverois. Music composed and conducted by W. Michael Lewis and Lauren Rinder. Associate produced by Christopher Pierce. Executive produced by Billy Fine. Produced by Menahem Golan and Yorm Globus. Good old Cannon. Cannon to the rescue. Screenplay by Leonard Neubauer. Story by Leonard Neubauer and Emmett Alston. And then directed by Emmett Alston. We open.
Nobody you've ever heard of.
What do you mean? Golan and Globus? The heads of
all
Cannon
these people,
Films?
Okay, that's it.
Dude, Cannon, man. Gotta love you.
People heard of
Films.
Roz because that was the Fonz, his girlfriend on Happy.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody else.
I think Kip Niven went on to do a few different things.
You lie.
Anyway, so we open with a city skyline at night and zoom in on a Holiday Inn. I'm guessing that product placement does more for their business than their I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night campaign did. You think they got some more business from this than that? I think so. I think this movie was that popular and that well-known that, no. Inside, Diane, a.k.a. Blaze, is getting her makeup done. And the one guy, her manager/agent, is cranky and tells her to hurry up. Jesus, the amount of rouge on her cheeks, though, is ridiculous. Is she an MC or a whore?
Maybe she's an MC whore.
That was a good one. She cracks back, "Bernie, baby, do me a favor and drop a load and relax." Man, that sounds like a front runner for top 10 quotes for the next year. She asks about where her assistant Yvonne is. And she phones her in her hotel room and inquires if she's talked to Richard, her husband. And Yvonne tells her he sounded like he already got a start on his New Year's celebrating at the club in Palm Springs, a.k.a. glug, 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 or if you catch my drift.
Cocaine.
She doesn't think he's going to make it to her show and tells Diane that she is going to get changed and then head upstairs. So Yvonne hangs up and proceeds to get ready. But while applying lipstick in her bathroom, she hears a leaky faucet in her shower/bathtub and she goes to tie in the handle to make it stop. I like the close-up of the bathtub faucet here for whatever reason. I don't know why they did it, but I feel like it's cinematography gold there.
Yep. You know what was funny, though? When I first saw Blaze here, right? I'm like, this is a rip-off Cyndi Lauper. And then I'm looking, though, the date of this movie is like 1980. Mm-hmm. And then Cyndi Lauper's her first album came out in 1983. So Cyndi Lauper copied off this person.
You think? I don't think she looks too much like Cyndi Lauper, just with the...
just her look, and some of the looks she's had.
Yeah, I don't think the hair really lines up.
I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. However, the faucet continues to drip, and we are interrupted by ominous music as her room's doorknob begins to be twisted rapidly, and then the door slowly creaks open. How rude. Can't they read the Do Not Disturb sign? Actually, she forgot to put it outside, so it's her own fault for what is about to happen next. She goes to investigate and looks outside in the hallway, but only sees a guy going the other way at the end of the hall. She locks up and goes back to turn off the leaky faucet again, but is interrupted by her first Tempo Magazine stinger and kill number 1. Splish slash slash, I was taking a bloodbath. She's ambushed by someone wearing black gloves in the shower who grabs her, opens a switchblade, and pulls her behind the shower curtain where we hear her scream and the sounds of her being stabbed. What a ripoff, though. We don't get to see anything.
I know.
I still kind of like it. Plus, it has a nice giallo homage with the black gloves. Also, how did she not notice this person in there in the first place?
Yeah, I don't.
Or did they sneak in when the door opened and then snuck into the bathroom while she was looking out in the hallway?
Unless she was hiding up on the ceiling or something.
Right.
They were hiding.
Or is he just Michael Myers and he could just teleport now?
Is it a he? We don't know yet.
Then we cut to shots of the city as our awesome main theme begins to play. Although this is supposed to be a very punk and new wave movie, and the show, that takes place during it is supposed to be punk and new wave, a lot of the music here, I guess, has more, what do they call it? It's more of a metal. I'm not sure what type of metal, but like a metal theme.
Like hair metal.
Yes.
I thought it was,
there's a few.
I don't know if it was supposed to be new wave.
That's what everybody says.
But I think some of it
like
was
punk and new wave.
It's kind of metal though because they were moshing.
Yeah, but what I was saying is they say it's, punk's mosh too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they claim it's like a punk and new wave slasher, but the music doesn't match that theme.
No.
And the theme of the show...
There's different music in it.
The theme of the show is punk and new wave.
Like when they actually I'm sorry, I'm going to jump ahead. When they actually mosh later, it's not to a song like... It sounds like a shitty pop song that you would not mosh to.
Yes.
All right, go.
So then we cut to shots of the city as our awesome main theme begins to play. Oh, I heard that. During this opening credit sequence...
It's great, though.
Oh, yeah. We follow a group of punks driving through the city streets on their way to the studio hotel in their convertible, and they're going apeshit. Woolie's gone apeshit. Yelling at other cars and already moshing in the back seat. The best part is when a van with its side door open pulls up, and a chick in the back flashes her breast for some reason. The 80s, when everyone's just flashing their breasts everywhere.
It was great. So this happened. I know we didn't get to see Vaughn,
titties.
But this is still pretty early. Yeah. And so I got to say, early tits are great.
So they arrive at the studio/hotel on the Sunset Strip and are greeted by security guard Better Stash and Scary Perry.
Hey now.
Who repeatedly ask for their tickets. Tickets. Let's have your tickets. Let's have your tickets.
It's just really like robotic.
It's so weird, but I love it.
He's like, ticket.
Also, at this rate, we may fill up this year's top 10 movie quotes for next year by the halfway point in this movie.
I know.
There's some gems in here.
I was a jeweler. I don't know.
The one punk tells him not to get excited and gives the guard a scare when he whips out his switch comb. The good old switch comb.
I think I'm gonna start ordering those and just walk around.
You just put it in somebody's face and then flip it open.
Not in this day and age.
Oh yeah, somebody. If you just even pulled it out, they'd probably pull a gun and blast you away.
Yeah, I'll pass on that. Bad idea.
Also, these punks get up would be right at home partying in the Resurrection Cemetery.
Yep.
It's party time.
Bum, bum.
So inside, we're back with Diane, aka Blaze, which is her stage name, and her manager getting ready for the show tonight, and her son Derek enters the room, bringing her flowers. And while this guy doesn't look like it, the guy sounds like Matthew Broderick. I can't help but notice that. Like, every time I hear this guy talk, I just think Ferris Bueller. He sounds like Ferris Bueller.
I gotta hear it. Oh, man.
Once I heard it, I'm just like, that guy, and that's going to be his nickname for this, is knockoff Ferris Bueller for the rest of this notes and stuff.
This character is fucking weird.
He is. So she greets him with a kiss, but can't be bothered with the flowers because of her nails. She's going to get changed into her outfit, and knockoff Ferris Bueller tells her he got a part in a new series. I hope it's not that short-lived Ferris Bueller TV show. that was a thing, right? If I remember correctly. I hope I'm not getting confused with the Weird Science, because that was another short-lived TV show based off of an 80s movie that was popular.
No, there is a Ferris Bueller.
That's what I thought. Oh, phew, it's just Spaceship America, though. Wait, I've never heard of that one either. Sorry, Derek, you signed up for a clunker.
I think there was somebody...
Oh, hold on, I got a better line here. Sorry, Derek.
So here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, I can't tell you now. Never mind.
Okay.
Damn.
This
is who was in that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay.
That's actually
You might
pretty
have to
funny.
cut some of that out, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Derek. It doesn't look like you're making it past the pilot episode. But she can't be bothered listening to him because she's too obsessed with getting ready for the show. I'm beginning to see a pattern here with her behavior. Also, her outfit is ridiculous. It's this pink reddish latex or vinyl dress.
Nah, it's...
With a free-floating vinyl sleeve. Like, it's not attached to her, but it's just on her arm.
Some of the 80s fashion.
Oh, it's the best, man.
It's great and odd at the same time.
She's also wearing a studded choker and to put a bow or collar on her punk attire. I feel like my notes butchered that joke.
Was there a joke?
Oh, no. She also wears a studded choker to put a bow or collar, wink, wink, on her punk attire. You put a bow on it.
I got it.
There's a long-winded dad joke there. So I also get the feeling that she actually isn't really into this whole punk thing and is just doing it because it's what's vogue right now. Anything to make a buck, right? Always sell out. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Also, they can't get a hold of Yvonne.
Nah, she's fine.
And then totally not off his rocker great value, Ferris walks away. Blaze asks if he's feeling all right, but he says he's fine. Sure he is fine. Fine and crazy. Is he our killer? Maybe. She leaves to go to the studio floor and begins her show, Hollywood Hotline, with a countdown for New Year's of the year's hottest new wave rock. And they introduce her as the first lady of rock, Blaze. So if she's the first lady, who's the president of rock then? Is it Elvis? It's probably Elvis, right? No, but wait, he was the king. Never mind.
I don't.
You don't know? Who's the president of rock? It's Sting. Of course it's Sting. It all comes back to Sting.
He was like just getting started then.
I got something. When we get to it, I got another Sting thing. It'll be in a future episode down the line, but
don't forget it.
He's everywhere. Oh, I'm pretty sure I sent it to you.
Isn't the president of the rock the president of the United States of America?
The band?
Peaches. Yeah.
I'm going with it, Sting.
I don't know. I googled president of rock. It gives me the Rock.
All right.
So the Rock.
This is already off the rails on the terror train.
Going off the rails on the terror train.
So, back to the story. Oh, so they literally have a hotline with a phone bank set up like it's a telethon.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite telethon or telethon-themed thing from a TV show? Mine's the telethon they did on Saved by the Bell to save the... I don't remember the name of the diner or wherever or the cafe or whatever the restaurant they always hung out in, but...
I'm sure I've seen a lot, but the one that comes to mind is the recent... Well, it's not so recent, but the recent remake of the Muppet movie with Jason Segel, Segel, whatever, and they do a telethon to save the Muppet Theater, the original.
Okay. So,
and then they kidnap Jack Black against his own will.
That's hilarious.
For a celebrity.
So immediately, this blonde punk starts outstretching his arms towards her. I don't quite like this guy's obsession. She's my obsession.
I feel like an emotion coming.
Yeah, see, this guy, he got my reference. This guy, he gets me sometimes.
I get him sometimes.
Though they're new wave, right?
Yeah.
That's what I
got to Google everything. I'm not going
to No, don't bother looking it up.
I'm looking at it now. You got me.
I think I don't make too many new wave references anyways. But
I'm like, I don't listen to that band like...
I think they're more regularly. Of a synth pop.
Yeah.
But synth pop's I'm not big into all the different musical genres and subgenres. It's all music to me.
It's music.
Right. So she leads off with, "Hey babies, it's time to slam down and get even." Seriously, there's not going to be any rooms left on the top 10 quote list if you keep up at this rate, movie. The cup runneth over on quotes for this.
So did you notice, I had a hard time, like when she's like opening the show, of understanding what the hell she was saying. And I even had subtitles on. And she also talks really fast. I just thought this was like...
I didn't have too much of a hard time.
Production.
There was times where I had time...
Because I watched this off of YouTube for free.
Well, yeah. So fortunately,
I don't.
I thought it was streaming on
I didn't
Tubi
have subtitles. Never mind. I thought I had subtitles. I see stuff.
It's all right. The subtitles weren't that great, anyways.
Yeah,
because they were just auto-generated.
Yeah, there's synth pop, new wave.
Okay.
So, anyways, I looked it up.
So she also adds, "It's time to spit up and boil your hair." How do you boil your hair?
What did you watch
something
this
you
on?
do? I also watched it. Unfortunately, it wasn't streaming anywhere. It was streaming on Tubi for the longest time, but then they must have taken it off.
And it's really rare to find. They made it like a one-off on Blu-ray.
I believe Scream Factory.
Yeah, it's really rare, so we weren't getting that.
Yeah, I think it's out of print.
You know what it is? I got dicks in my ears. I mean, I do like dick, but I got too much dick. I don't know. Maybe I need to get like one of those professional, like ear cleanings, or like I've been seeing Facebook ads for like this suction thing that like
Yeah,
sucks the
I
wax
saw a
out of-
commercial for that.
All right.
Maybe they could be our sponsor. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I know. Whatever your company is.
You're right.
All right, good.
So, but yeah, how do you boil your hair? Like, I don't even know if that's like. I know it's. I don't get some of these expressions. She also tells them it's the last chance to be bad before making those New Year's resolutions, and that's why their celebration is called New Year's Evil. Funny, I thought it was called that because it's your typical 80s slasher holiday pun title.
Exactly.
Also, every movie is better when you mention the title of it in your movie, right? I'm looking at you, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Because Doc says it. Every movie's better when you say the title of it in your
Does
movie.
he say it at the end, right? Of the
He
first
says
one?
no. He says it when he's explaining to Marty, and he's like, then send you back to the future, and he points at like the camera, like off into the distance.
Oh, I thought he says it at the end before episode 2.
He might say it, but he does say it in the first one.
Because he's like, we got to go back. And then Marty's like, back where? Anyways, good. But I got
So,
you. And that's
they're-
probably a more memorable line.
That's all right.
Sorry.
So they're going to tune in to watch the arrival of midnight in 3 different time zones: New York, Chicago, and Aspen, before finishing off at their studio on the West Coast. She heads over to the phone bank to answer some calls for people to vote for the best new wave, quote, song of the year. But we don't get a number to call, stating we should already know it from their Saturday shows. Damn it, I really wanted to call that number.
I'd call it. I probably would have. I would have dialed it.
That's what I'm saying. We would have done it right here.
I mean,
just,
even though it'd be like we need an area code or something. I'm like,
right? Or we'd get some random
I'll see where the
person.
movie was filmed and figure out the location.
So the first caller calls in and casts her vote for "We Don't Need No Education." Don't you mean Pink Floyd's The Wall?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I
Or
could
is
say
there
that.
really a song by that name too that I've never heard of?
They meant.
I even looked. I couldn't find anything. I'm like, I think they just fucked up.
No,
Or this lady just doesn't know what she's talking about.
That's what they meant, but they just can't say it.
Could be.
I think.
But that's not even like new wave
Well, this movie is
or punk.
1980. I get it. It's. I mean,
Neither here.
some
nor
of
there.
that stuff is just coming up, though.
Right.
It's kind of weird. It's like they were on top. I
Right.
guess. You know, we weren't alive then,
Right.
So the hell if I don't.
However, the second call is from some weirdo in a
Because
phone
the
booth.
wall was like 1976, I think.
Yeah. So the second call is from some weirdo in a phone booth. We got a phone booth using a voice changer to wish her a Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Blaze describes his voice as sounding like the Phantom. She talk about the superhero or the Phantom of the Opera? I'm guessing it's the superhero.
Correction. The Wall album was released in 1979, so I guess that would kind of make it in time with this.
True.
So that, I mean, that could be it.
He tells her to call him evil. Like the movie. Get it? She asks, "You bad, honey?" And then he's like, "No, just evil." I love the way he says no for some reason. Also, we have a slasher with a voice changer. I wonder where I've seen that concept before. Scream franchise?
Oh, I haven't seen a lot of them, like I told you. But you know what? You can't kill David Arquette.
Well, that's debatable. I think it seems more like you can always kill David Arquette anymore.
I think
Everything
you're gonna have
I've
to
seen
hold
him
me
in, he
down
just
for
dies.
a weekend, and you're like, you need to watch these essential horror movies. You're like,
Pretty much.
why the hell are you my co-host? You don't know anything. No, I'm just kidding.
I did do the bit from Scream on you, and you got it wrong. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was just completely off the cuff. You weren't even doing it intentionally either. Anyways, he doesn't have a vote for the top song of the year, but instead he has a New Year's resolution to share. He's going to commit murder at midnight, and it's going to be someone she knows. Bum, bum, bum.
Seems cool.
Her son also hears the call as he watches the broadcast in his room. She dismisses the call and saying, "It must be a full moon." Wait, I thought this was a Canon picture, not a full moon picture.
Hey, now.
Then it's time for us to kick off the show with the band Shadow performing the title song again, which that's a pretty killer song. I do love it. You got some of the lines? Sing it here.
I don't, but you know when they're singing it, the
And
guys,
it's on theme. It actually involves,
like,
the killings and stuff.
It must have been lip synced or something because, like,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
the voice does not, like, that voice is not coming from that guy
Right.
singing. Because they might have had some, like,
Yeah, they probably had
stand-in.
to do...
Like, I've never heard of this band, but, like, if you go on Spotify,
They
can-
actually are a real band.
Yeah,
Both of the bands in this. But
the
they're
song
not
is
big
on
name
Spotify.
bands.
Yeah, I think I added it to my just general playlist and my horror playlist.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, but go ahead, keep going.
Blaze runs over to her manager, Ernie, while they perform, worried about the mysterious caller, saying he doesn't sound like the usual weirdos. He tries to calm her down and tell her not to worry, but she wants more cops for protection. Send more cops. And he tells her that he'll get them. So
For those at home who care, Shadow
All-
has only one single on Spotify.
it's the only one they need.
And one song. All right, anyways.
All of this transpires while Shadow keeps performing, and the mosh pit keeps moshing? Is that like the proper term?
Not really a moshing song is what I wrote down, but sure.
But whatever. Meanwhile, we cut back to our killer caller at his phone booth. He's dressed in all black with a beanie on and grabs some stuff from his trunk before heading towards a building marked with a sign telling us it is Crawford Sanitarium. Funny, his outfit screams burglar rather than serial killer. And the letters on the sign for the sanitarium aren't straight or level. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah,
this
it was weird.
With each other.
It was a weird sign.
Great quality movie.
It wasn't as good as the close-up of Silent Night, Steady Light on that.
To be fair, it could be a real sign for a real sanitarium, except that the building it is in front of looks too small. But it's hard to tell because most of the building's covered in shadow, and it's shrouded in darkness, so I'm not sure. He sneaks in the back door as an employee is taking out the trash. And we cut to all the loonies watching Hollywood Hotline and moshing around in their own clearly crazy way as Shadow's performance is still going on. One patient is watching a toy Santa on a bicycle going around in a circle on the table he's sitting at. And another pokes his head up from under the table and whacks it with a shoe. See, this guy can't be that crazy. He realizes Santa's evil. Also, yes, like all Santa paraphernalia, the toy is probably creepy and / are sinister looking. You don't really get a good look at it though.
Was Billy's grandfather at this place at one time?
Yeah, he was moshing in the crowd, man.
Was he?
Pretty sure this is the same sanitarium.
Wait, that was in Utah.
Wait, this is in California. He got transferred.
Transferred.
That's part of our
that makes sense. That makes sense.
All right. So back in the hallways, Evil ducks into one of the side rooms as a blonde female nurse sneaks out from the main room celebration, and she's smoking. And she's not bad on the eyes either.
No,
the 80s.
She's not.
When you could still smoke inside any medical facility.
So bad. I just don't know why they realized that then. And then you get airplanes, like, this is not good at all. I remember when we were younger, there's ashtrays and McDonald's and shit.
Yeah.
And then I remember when they put the ban on that stuff.
Yep. Okay. So Evil interrupts her smoke break stroll by popping out right in front of her, explaining that he was sent over from county as temporary help. And she offers to show him around, wink wink. Geez, only in movies do guys bump into random women and they immediately want to jump their bones. Try this in real life and you'll be slapped with a restraining order.
Yeah, do not try this at home.
He even brought his own radio, stating he always comes well equipped. And she responds, I bet you do. Get it? She's talking about his dick.
I do like this. I mean, what?
double rim shot there. He also has a bottle of champagne, so they head off into a side room to listen to some easy listening music, still from Shadow, because it's literally the broadcast, the radio version of the show, to set the mood as they share a Dixie cup of champagne. He asks if she would like to dance, and she comments that he doesn't waste much time, and he quips back that he counts every second. I see what you did there, movie. We cut back to the studio dance floor, and I didn't realize there was such a thing as slow moshing, but here we are. It's as ridiculous as you think it would look.
Did you notice in a lot of these scenes, the TV show, they throw like a look at like Times Square or whatever for like the ball drop or whatever, they show people partying. It's like the shittiest footage ever. Like these people got these
quality broadcasting.
These people in this movie spent like nothing.
They needed to adjust the rabbit ears to get a better reception.
I mean, this is like horrible. But anyways,
the 80s, good old rabbit ears on the TV.
It's not rabbit ears. It's just like the people.
That's why it was fuzzy. They needed to adjust their rabbit ears.
The people who financed this movie were like, "Hey, we ain't paying shit for that."
Backstage, Blaze's manager introduces her to Lieutenant Clayton and Sergeant Green at the LAPD. She asks what they are going to do to protect her, but they dismiss it, saying that's the kind of thing to expect from the audience that her show is targeted to. Blaze doesn't take that too well, but the lieutenant tells her the only thing they can do is trace the call, so that the guy calls back to keep him on the line as long as possible. She storms off and calls her son up in the room, who reluctantly answers the phone, very slowly. Weird.
You know what's weird about this, though?
Yes.
Besides that weird, is like they're going to try to trace this call, right?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. But like this is aired on TV, so these calls are already recorded because aren't the listeners hearing these calls too?
Yeah, it's live TV.
Yeah, so.
Well, but to trace the call, you have to have them on the line to go through the thing.
I think there was, I don't know what, this is where my context is wrong, but there's some point where like, they're like, hey, we need him to say this or whatever, and it's.
Well, they also try to keep him on the line to get him to slip up, so.
I get that. I get the whole call trace thing, but it's just some other context. I don't know if it was earlier. Sorry, I'm swinging and a miss.
You're fine.
Too much stuff I ate.
Right. And the poor gas station, I mean, they got the, it looks like they got like a construction sign up there, but they still have to clear out the rubble. I don't know where you're going to go to use the bathroom.
Oh, I have
Yeah, we got
adult diapers.
Oh, I got something coming up for that.
Have adult diapers on.
Oh, jeez. We're off the rails on the terror train again.
We're bad.
So she asked her son if he has seen Yvonne, but he hasn't. He's been trying to reach Dad, but the line has been busy. Wait, so is the husband the person close to her that Evil is going to kill? Or is that nurse Dad? Or is Dad already dead? These are some weird questions. He says he may eventually come to the show, but when he wants to tell her something important, all of a sudden she has to go. Parent of the year right here, folks.
Yeah, what a bitch.
But Great Value Ferris Bueller doesn't take it too well, as he downs a bunch of pills. I'm sure he's perfectly normal. After all, our killer, Evil, is at the sanitarium, so this guy can't be the killer. Back at the sanitarium, Evil and the nurse are making out, despite the fact that they have only known each other for 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was just...
Hey, she even says she doesn't care about that.
Like, at first she was, like, hesitant, and then she's like, fuck it.
Right. As they move things onto the examination table/bed, the song ends and the broadcast of the countdown in Times Square takes over. As they get ready for the countdown during the final minute, Evil reaches over and presses the record button on his radio, which cues some ominous music. Hey, maybe he just wants to make a sex tape. However, as the countdown inches closer to midnight, Evil pulls out a switchblade and pops out the blade. In a very cool shadow shot, I must admit, showing the shadow of the blade and then it pops out, like the shot there. And at the stroke of midnight, we have kill number 2. Goodbye, nurse. He stabs her over and over with the switchblade in a series of stylish shots that cut back and forth between the raised knife and scenes of the inmates celebrating as he plunges the blade into her.
Do we get to see her?
With each stab, the blade in his hand becoming more splattered with each shot.
We get to see her knockers, right? I forget. I thought we did.
You definitely see her bra, and I think it might slip.
Yeah.
But I thought there was more to it, but when I was rewatching it for my notes, I don't quite remember if you get a good shot of him.
All right.
But yeah,
because that's always extra point.
Oh, yes. So I love the way this is shot, though. So
I'm not sleazy. Leave me alone.
Hey, who doesn't like boobs, right?
I do like boobs.
Well, anyways. So I love the way this is shot, like I said. So even though it doesn't actually show any of the knife, so that's how you can get around that stuff with the low budget. You just cut away.
But sometimes less is more.
Yeah, but I just love the way it's cut too. You got the knife going down, that goes back to the shots and keeps cutting back and forth from something else. And it's also clever because while she does scream, no one can hear it because they're all celebrating because of the countdown and with the noises and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I don't think this is the kind of penetration she was expecting. But it's sticking today.
It's the hardest button to button.
It is. Then it's back to the studio where the band pretends that they know what new wave and punk is, while the action in the mosh pit ramps up.
Yeah.
Back manning the phones, Blaze takes a call, and it's Evil again, back in a phone booth. Blaze is a little taken aback and uncomfortable here, but she asks if he was just joking, but he says he wasn't and made his first kill right on schedule.
Right.
And gives her a replay of her broadcast accompanied by the sounds of stabbing and the nurse's screams. He adds that he'll call back in an hour and to tell the police they can find the body at the sanitarium, finishing off the call by telling Blaze to have fun and maybe a kind of sort of Temple Magazine stinger. I'm not 100% sure. It's tough to qualify a stinger sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes a musical flourish, is that just a stinger as well, or, you know?
Yeah.
So the other nurse goes looking for the blonde nurse, but as she walks the hallways, the eerie synth kicks in. She enters the side room and finds a blood-covered high heel sticking out from the closet door. She opens the closet and turns on the light and screams as she discovers the corpse of the other nurse with her throat mutilated. Police sirens sound in the background as they head to the sanitarium as the camera zooms in on the decent effect. Hey, on the plus side, no wire hangers. Am I right, Joan Crawford? Mommy Dearest again. For a movie I've never seen all the way through and never actually sat down and watched, I sure do reference it a lot. To be fair, that scene's pretty famous. Everybody talks about it. Meanwhile, back with Great Value Ferris, he opens a switchblade of his own. Are we sure this movie doesn't have 2 killers? That would make for another interesting Scream comparison. Although, maybe it does. More on that later, though. Mm-hmm. He proceeds to cut up and tear at some of his mother's clothing, some negligee or stockings or of the sort, while this creepy piano score plays, while he mutters about the people thinking he has a mental disorder as he takes the stockings and pulls it over his head and face, and then proceeds to pierce his ear with a pin, asking, now what do you think?
Sorry. This is so fucked up. When I was watching this, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I tell him here, what do I think? I think you're batshit crazy and those other people are right.
I think you need to go to that sanitarium.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's back to the show as Blaze is on the stage, dancing to some more not new wave / punk.
Yeah.
I have to comment on this blonde punk again. He reaches out his arms towards the stage, lusting for Blaze. He wants her as bad as I want Victoria Justice.
So I want bad as sister, whatever from Southern.
Oh. Back with the crazy version of Ferris. He tries to make a call, but the number is busy. And he proceeds to rip apart the flowers he got his mother as the show plays on TV.
The way he does it, though, he actually does it within rhythm to the music, if you notice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He kind
I
of
did not notice that. That's cool.
Yeah. That was actually kind of cool.
And the lead singer here, he laughs at the end of the song. And I just get this strong Tim Curry vibe as like Dr. Frankenfurter from it. And his like look up, because he kind of got like the stocking sleeves and stuff, kind of get up. And it just like sounds like a Tim Curry type laugh.
Yeah.
We cut to a scene of Evil applying a fake mustache. It's sad that even this artificial lip hair puts Scary Perry to shame. But hey, at least there's hope for you yet, right, Perry?
I want to beat you with this.
Hey, Dolores, do you know where Perry can buy a fake mustache like that?
Oh, you can get one of my junk in the trunk.
Dolores is useless. She doesn't know anything. Jumping back to the studio, the lieutenant gets off the phone and informs Blaze that the killer is the real deal and he carved up a nurse. And she puts 1 + 2 + 2 + 1 together to figure out that he must have gone to Yvonne too. And she breaks down then cries. Oh, so now she cares about someone other than herself. But who cares about that? Leisure Suit Evil is ready to hit the local disco because the trends of the 80s haven't quite fully taken over yet. So Leisure Suit Evil heads to the bar to scope out his next point-and-click adventure and eyes up 2 ladies at the under end of the bar. I also think he kind of looks a little like Bill Paxton in True Lies.
So what I have down, his voice, his mannerisms, and his looks. To me, he looks like John Cusack and John Cleese combined into one person.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I also think he looks like the look, not so much the voice of his sound, but like, you know, Bill Paxton. He's got like the hair.
Yeah.
Especially Bill Paxton's mustache in True Lies. It just reminds me of that. And like
it's been a while since I've seen the movie,
the sport jacket.
Yeah.
So knockoff cocaine guy from Die Hard, a.k.a. Doc from Terror Trade, strolls up and asks one of them to dance, leaving the other one open for Evil to make his move and make small talk. I think the guy, he looked like, looked like the cocaine guy from Die Hard. Forget his name, but we also found out he played Doc in Terror Train.
Love the cocaine guy.
Yep. Back at the studio, the detective tells Blaze and her manager that the killer is going to try to attempt murder again at midnight in each of the time zones. And since she's their only link to the guy, she needs to humor Evil if he calls back and keep him on the line, so hopefully he slips up and says something that can allow them to catch him. See, that's where I got that.
So in a lot of these scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have like your assistant around, the guy assistant, and then you have the detective. I get it. They're kind of, they don't know if her friend's dead or whatever, but they're like consoling her. They're really touchy with her. They're like really hands-on.
I didn't pick up
I'm like,
that.
this is really creepy. Like you're a lead detective. Like, what? I get it. Maybe it's like a cop thing, but he's like rubbing her back and shit. I'm like, this is really like too much touchy.
She needs an adult.
I don't know. She needs.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I need an adult.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Back at the disco, Evil is having a good time with his bubbly lady friend, but he has to leave to go to a party for his client, Eric Estrada. Whoa, this guy is rolling in that Chips money.
Yeah.
So Evil gets the bright idea that she should come with him to the party. She mulls it over as some random guy bumps into her, remarking that if she goes to the party, at least she won't be crushed to death. Evil replies, "That I can guarantee." Wink, wink. Meanwhile,
you know, some people do like to be crushed, stepped on. All right, I digress.
Jeez. It would have been funny if she did end up getting crushed to death, but I think it's also funny that, you know, he guarantees she's not going to die that way. So meanwhile, at the studio, it's time for the next performance featuring Shadow and Made in Japan. Both at the same time? Or is it Shadow and they are performing the song Made in Japan? Then why is the song they're singing about dumb blondes? I know, it's 2 different bands, but the way they frame it just sounds weird.
Made in Shadow. Made in the Shadow.
Also, I think it is offensive that this band would stereotype blondes this way, and that the band would appropriate Japanese culture for their gain, and they need to be canceled. 100%. Nah, I'm just joking. Plus, the singer's outfit is something else.
Japanese.
Oh yeah, there's a song that you can't say anymore.
Oh, I can sing it.
Well, you can't. It never plays on the radio anymore. I remember.
Doesn't? Not on our local station.
No, it never plays anymore. It finally. I've never heard it. I used to hear it on a regular basis, but so it's only offensive if you understand the true meaning of the song.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because if you just think, what's
play
wrong with
other
turning
songs,
Japanese?
so-
You know, wouldn't that be honoring their culture
mean,
that you're
this
turning
is-
into Japanese? But when you know that it's about masturbating,
Yeah.
and it's like you're doing your O face, and what do you do when you're doing your? It's like you sound like a Japanese person when you're doing your O face. That's why it's offensive.
I mean,
because now
I could give a list of other songs that I hear a lot that probably should be canceled, but that's a different topic for a different kind of podcast.
Oh, that reminds me. So at Phantom of the Mall, there's a theme song for that, but they make a joke about Jason Voorhees, and they use the R word when they don't call him, but it's like, are you just a R word in a hockey mask? You know? With
Oh,
the R
really?
word. Yeah. I'm listening to this song. I'm like, well, you can't make this song nowadays.
Yeah.
Anyways, plus the singer's outfit is something else. He's wearing a leopard spotted vest, but it's not like a vest. It's just like a jacket, but with black sleeves. Over top, a t-shirt with a giant picture of a woman's face. Only in the 80s could you get away with this type of style.
No, I do it every day, man.
In all seriousness, though, the song's pretty catchy. Plus, we have George Romero behind the camera capturing the cinematography. Hey, when times are tough, you have to film a music video or two to pay the bills.
Was it really him?
No,
I
it
was
just
looking-
looks like him.
Oh, okay.
Back at the disco, Evil is waiting outside for his hot date to freshen up when his clone with a better mustache than Scary Perry walks out. It's like looking into a mirror. I don't know if you noticed that. Like this guy, I'm like, man, that guy looks a lot like him.
Yeah, yeah.
See, Perry, you can relate to this guy. He's got a crazy twin too.
Where's Scary Pod?
Or is Pod the one that's normal and you're the one that's crazy? I can't remember.
I don't know. How do you know I'm not Scary Pod? You don't know.
Oh, I know. She finally comes out with her roommate, who is tagging along, because you don't expect her to get in a car by herself with a total stranger, do you? Wait, so the ditzy blonde in a horror movie is making a smart decision? Has the world gone mad? Oso?
In the 80s, they'd go anywhere, man.
All right. Oso? Dumb blondes. I see what you did there, movie. Very clever. He says, fine. The more the merrier, and tells them to follow him to his Mercedes. Estrada is paying Evil the big bucks, apparently. Back with Blaze and the detective. They are listening to Evil's call from earlier to see if they can recognize part of the voice, but to no avail. But midnight is coming up in Chicago. Uh-oh. And a stagehand asks if he wants to have someone else sub in, but she definitely says no. She isn't going to let Evil ruin her show because that's exactly what he wants. Hey, the show must go on, right?
And it's all about her.
That's right. And the show must go on. And we will go on right after this break. And we're back.
A dinosaur story.
Isn't the movie technically They're Back a dinosaur movie?
I don't know.
Or Dinosaur Tale, whatever. It's not important.
Now I have to look it up. This guy has me Googling.
I still like the bit.
More than
I like the bit.
You know what? I need to get a
I
tablet.
think it's fun.
I'm using a phone.
So Evil, he's driving.
We're back a dinosaur story.
Is it?
It's a dinosaur story.
Oh, okay.
I've been saying a dinosaur story.
All right. Neither here nor there. Anyways, back to the movie. So Evil is driving with these two dumb blondes, and he thought he was the killer, but he's the one being bored to death with the Ditz's nonstop rambling small talk.
I think this might be the best part of the movie. the same.
Yeah, you just see him. He keeps getting more frustrated.
Like the
and
way-
it's getting closer to
He's
midnight.
such good acting.
He's getting closer to midnight, and you can tell he's getting antsy. We do find out she is from Akron, so that's not too far away from us.
Yeah.
Evil is getting nervous as he glances down at the clock and sees it getting closer to the top of the hour and vents his frustrations. Is he going to be able to stay on schedule and kill these bimbos? The Ditz tells him he needs to relax.
Are they bimbos or hottie bimbalotties?
Whatever.
Alright.
So the Ditz tells him he needs to relax, recommending him try some transcendental meditation.
I was like, oh god.
After all, it helped her stop biting her nails, and her friend Lisa got rid of her nervous diarrhea. Too much information. But I've noticed that you've been having to make less trips to the bathroom. Have you been doing some of this TM, as they call it, Perry?
No, I told you I'm wearing adult
Oh,
diapers.
okay, that's it.
Because the gas
I mean, you
station.
need to do something since the gas station blew up.
I'm not taking a pee or number two in that shithole down the hall.
And she just keeps going on and on. I think Evil is having second thoughts about choosing her as his next victim or waiting until midnight to kill her. Lisa chimes in that whatever comes into your head comes right out of your mouth. Reminds me of someone I know. Let's spin the wheels and see what comes out of your mouth this time, Perry. Spin the wheels.
Carpet, dinosaur, cheese. I don't know.
Okay, we'll go with it. The wheels don't always line up perfectly well.
Like, you put me on the spot. It's hard to
Yeah.
It's hard to throw
That's
me on the spot.
That's a bit of an inside joke, because we always say you spin your wheels.
I do.
So she finishes that none of that TM, TA, Zen mumbo jumbo means, quote, doodly D squat. Because if a girl doesn't have a date on New Year's Eve, she's in shit city. Man, that lustful stare she gives him. The ladies are really thirsty tonight. Everybody wants to fuck this guy. Oh, so Scary Perry. So you...
It's the mustache. That's fine.
yeah, it's the 100%.
Can I go back in time?
There, yeah. You need to go back to the 80s. You'd be knee deep in the strange.
Now people look at me, they'd say away.
So Scary Perry, so information about you. You have a master's degree in geography, for real. So can you tell all the listeners where Shit City is located?
It is.
Can you draw a map to it?
Yeah, it's up your ass and to the left.
As Evil turns on the radio for the New Year's broadcast, it seems that TM hasn't quite made Lisa's nervous diarrhea go away, so they pull over so she can use the bathroom at a nearby liquor store. Hey, maybe you can use that bathroom, Perry. It's good enough for her, it's good enough for you. Is there a liquor store nearby like this that you can go use the bathroom at?
I wish.
Well, maybe you'll have to check the Google Maps and see how close the closest liquor store is.
It says it's in Shit City. What is going on? Dolores, the Wi-Fi is acting up again.
Oh. So Evil hands her a $100 bill to go buy a bottle of champagne. Us Italians prefer J&B for every occasion, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The ditzy blonde says, I think her diarrhea is back. I said that already, lady. Tried to keep up. With her out of the way, Evil presses record on his portable radio just as the countdown begins on the car radio and offers her to take a whiff from his bag of hash. But that just leads to...
It's a giant bag of weed.
Yeah. That just leads to kill number 3. Dead blonde. Evil puts the plastic bag over her head and chokes the life out of her. I guess he really took her breath away. Also, I'm singing the lyrics of Dumb Blonde there. That's what it sounds like when they say it. They say, dumb blondes. So...
Okay.
Because I kind of started talking in that voice like I was singing it, but without explaining that's how the song sounds. Long-winded explanation there.
Also, another song that's creepy. Every breath you take. It's about stalking somebody.
Oh, yeah. It sure is. I heard somebody talk about that song recently, and they put it in a movie, but as like a, not like using it as like a stock element, like as like something romantic or something. And it's just like, you do know that song's about stalking, right? I can't remember what review or what movie it was, but I've heard somebody mention that. I'm like, yeah, why did they make that song choice? But it all goes back to Sting. Right? Every breath you take, that's the Police, right?
Yeah. That's Sting.
Sting is the glue that holds together the International House of Horror podcast universe. Since the very first episode.
That magazine is now locked and sealed away.
It's in a vault for safekeeping.
Until we get to go to video.
Right. Inside the liquor store, Lisa completes an awkward purchase with the cashier. What's up with that guy? He just seems kind of like stiff.
This interaction was the weirdest thing. I was like, what the fuck?
Hey, he just seems like kind of stiff in his delivery. I don't know what it is.
I'm like, this is weird.
Like, she's fine. She just kind of like looks, like, I want to get the heck out of here type thing.
This is like almost like kind of like the Room interaction.
So she heads outside. The car is gone, though, and she is instead greeted by some knockoff. Ma, ma, ma. It's like, hey, ha, ha. It's like, hey, he, ha. It's like so weird. I'm like, I knew what they were going for. Although this might have actually come out before Friday the 13th. You'd have to look it up.
This said that it was a few days before December 19th. So give me a second.
Oh, so, 1980 though, right? Yeah. So it came out the end of 1980. Yeah. So this would have came out after Friday the 13th.
Obviously only a few days before.
Yeah, this would have came out after Friday the 13th. So
New Year's.
Could be an influence. So she goes around the side and finds her friend's shoe, and that's when the eerie music kicks in. Continuing around the side toward the back, she finds the other shoe and sees her friend's dress sticking out of the dumpster, which causes her to become distraught. What's her next logical step? Run and call the police? Don't be ridiculous. You open up the dumpster and check it out, of course.
No, you go talk to the weird champagne guy.
Right? You run back in and see if he's got a phone to go.
I'm like, do you have JB instead of this shit?
No, you open it up, of course. But that just leads us to another Tempo Magazine stinger and kill number 4, taking out the trash. Evil lights his lighter, grins, and pulls her into the dumpster. I really think her nervous diarrhea should have returned here, and it should have been like explosive style, and like as she gets pulled in, she just like shit goes everywhere.
Oh shit!
It would have been great.
that would have been an extra half. That's some Terrifiers.
Yeah,
literally.
But it would have been great.
This was
just because of the setup.
I like this scene though. This was
it's a pretty good scene,
yeah.
Especially since he's in the dark and then he illuminates it with the lighter, and he's got that shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
Wait now. But no, I just think that would have been worth an extra half a pancake if they took that extra step to set up the diarrhea that she like shits as she's going in.
Yeah.
Back at the studio, Blaze is on the phone listening to Evil's latest killer mixtape and says he is sick and needs help. Well, no shit, Sherlock. But he tells her to shut up, bitch, and to tell the cops that he took out the trash from his last party at Ventura and Morro Canyon. Hey, that's my line. He stole my line. That was my line, taking out the trash.
I thought he was in Shit City. I think, let me see. When he calls, then I don't think he uses his thing. And then you think she would know
but it's
the
still
voice.
in the voice, though, which is weird.
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I think the voice is still synthesized through the... Because what he's actually using, he's using one of those throat speaking devices that people who have the laryngectomy, I think it's called, right? He's using, but he's not putting obviously in a hole for his throat like they do. He's putting in. Well, actually, no, they just put it in their mouth anyways. I think they don't actually put it in the throat hole.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it just goes in the mouth anyways. But he doesn't have the laryngectomy. He's just putting it in his mouth to change his voice, which is very clever.
Yeah.
So Evil hangs up and exits the phone booth and changes out of his Leisure Suit Larry cosplay as the cops drive by the scene of the crime. Maybe you should stop and check out the guy with no shirt on that you just passed that's just randomly chasing his clothes out on the middle of the street. No? Okay, carry on then.
No, those guys are okay.
So the officers...
They're frequenters of Shit City.
Yes. The officers check out the dumpster and see some blood on the outside.
Dude, why wouldn't they have their guns out? Like,
very true.
They should have their guns
be ready,
out walking. Yeah.
especially when they see something like that. But when they open it, they are greeted by some more knockoff and a cat jump scare. They find more blood and follow the trail to find the dumb blonde strung up on a swing set like she's in Hellraiser. They continue and find a bloody handbag
let me
by
just
a
ask you a
slide.
question.
Sure.
In like weird rural Shit City, not rural, urban Shit City.
Is this where are
why
we actually in
is there a
Shit
swing
City?
set behind?
It's like a
convenience
playground.
store. I get. All right.
Well, no, they do walk a ways because they walk by like a fence to it, so they follow the blood trail to the playground.
All right. Fair enough.
So is this diner located in Shit City?
I don't know.
Or no. So if we're in Shit City and Tom Atkins came over here, ran over to stop at the gas station to try to stop the Colonel Cochran. So Shit City must be somewhere just outside of Santa Mira. Assuming we're in Shit... Are we in Shit City?
Wait.
Is the International House of Horror located in Shit City, California?
We're in California.
Oh...
When the fuck did we get here?
Man, every episode this podcast just gets more and more off the rails on the terror train.
And that's the way it is. All right.
After finding her, like I said, strung up like she's in Hellraiser, they continue and find a bloody handbag by a slide, and Lisa's stab-marked corpse just so happens to slide down as they pick up and investigate the handbag. Off-screen, Evil has to be celebrating his setup. He's like, yes, perfect fucking timing. I nailed it. She slid down just as they came over to her and picked up the handbag. He's like, nailed it. The detective gets the phone call and tells the other detective about the latest 2 murders, slashed just like the nurse. The one was suffocated. Who runs the continuity here? Although I guess he probably could have stabbed her afterwards. It's kind of tough to tell. It looks like he did mutilate the body because there's some blood on her afterwards. I think that's a decent effect, her hanging on the swing set.
Yeah.
There's not too much, like, super gory effects in this. It's mostly just blood, but I mean, they're okay. The detective says he should be stalking his 11 o'clock victim about now. And right on cue, we cut over to Evil driving, now dressed up as a priest. He even has a book with pictures of religious people for reference. There's even a nun in there. Were you checking out that picture of that nun in there?
I got confused. Like, I thought he was targeting somebody to kill.
I think he just really needed to study up on his priesthood there.
I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, are you...
It is very weird.
I'm like I wonder what it's... just keep going because... Yeah.
But at a red light, a biker gang pulls up around his car, flips him the bird, and then drives off. He turns on the radio and hears about his latest murders and the broadcaster warning the public. He quickly turns it off, but accidentally runs into the biker gang's motorcycles while being distracted by the picture of a nun in the book. Maybe he has a thing for nuns like you, Scary Perry.
Yeah, maybe it's me. What?
Rather than exchange information and let the insurance handle it like civilized people, the biker gang rushes the car and bang on it, so Evil backs up and drives off. And we have our 80s movie chase scene, complete with awesome synth music. He pulls into a drive-in theater that is showing a New Year's spookathon, 8 horror movies, Dusk Till Dawn. Is that like some sort of knockoff from Dusk Till Dawn? Before that was a thing?
Maybe.
And oh boy, since it's a New Year's spookathon, I hope they were showing Bloody New Year, Terror Train, and Ghost Keepers, and, well, now that I think of it, there aren't that many well-known New Year's horror films. I'm surprised they were able to find 8. Do you think Ted Raimi is selling condoms in the bathroom here, though?
Probably.
Of course.
Most likely.
He just goes to random drive-ins and sets up.
He used to sell it at the gas station next door until it blew up.
He pulls in to see the trailer for Blood Feast. I'm sure we will cover the Herschel Gordon Lewis flick eventually. The biker gang arrives, and they don't even stop to pay. Those hooligans, they proceed to drive around looking for Evil. In one of the cars, we see a guy feeling up his girlfriend. Titties!
Nice.
And he's ready for the hunka chunka. But she says maybe next movie. But the trailer tells us the next movie is Bloodbath. You don't want to miss that. Wait, which Bloodbath? Because I see that there's actually two. So there's a Corman one from the 60s. I'm assuming it's that one because Blood Feast also came out in the 60s. So I'm assuming it's a drive-in double feature with the 60s Corman Bloodbath and not the 70s. I'm not sure if it's British or not, but there's a Bloodbath from the 70s that has a completely different premise.
Well, so here's what actually is. It seems to show Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Feast, 1963. But it's not. The movie that's actually showing is The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, 1972. A.K.A. La Dama Rosa Usadi.
Yeah, it's a giallo.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. It was also distributed, though, under the name Blood Feast, which has caused some confusion.
That's really funny. Although the fact that they're pairing it with Bloodbath probably meant that they were referring to Gordon Lewis's Blood Feast from the 60s and Bloodbath from the 60s, but then just showed the wrong movie. Or maybe, because technically they're narrating maybe those are the next 2 movies in the Horathon, but for whatever reason, while they're watching The Red Queen Kill 7 Times, the announcer for the drive-in is telling you what's going to be on next during the middle of the movie like an asshole. which is oh, it's neither here nor there.
Oh, man.
Evil sees the biker gang, and that's his cue to exit as he sneaks out of his car before the bikers find it and trash it. But he runs into the biker who flipped him the bird earlier, and he stalls him with the line, "I'm a man of God, not a man of violence." The biker believes him just as much as we do, laughing, but the joke's on him because he's kill number 5. Evil turns him into a Hell's Angel by stabbing him in the chest. Back with the titties, the guy's continuing to put the moves on his girl, but Evil cock-blocks him, grabbing him and throwing him out of the car, driving off with his girlfriend and smashing through a biker's motorcycle, blocking the exit. It's a good thing, too. Some random twin was probably going to lift a hatchet from the back of a pickup and wander over and kill this guy, sending his girlfriend running into the woods naked. Listen to our Blood Rage episode to get that reference. Back at the studio, we find out that it's only 5 minutes away from New Year's in Aspen. It sounds like they have the lamest New Year's celebration ever, with these people just skiing down a slope and carrying candles.
I mean, I guess that's kind of...
Yeah,
the candle thing's weird, but I guess that's fun. That's what they do.
I guess. Back with Evil, the ominous music begins as the girl he kidnapped begs for him not to hurt her. But I have a feeling the way he's holding his switchblade up with it glimmering in the light means that she's won her way to becoming kill number 6. A very cool shot, by the way, when he holds up the switchblade and it's glimmering in the light, glistening in the light. Mm-hmm. She tries to pay him off, but all she has $3 in a ring. Hey, Santa killed for only $30 more or so.
Yeah, that's it.
Listen to our last episode, Silent Night, Deadly Night, for that reference. Then she tries to offer herself, but come on, he's a priest. He's not going to be interested. As Evil tries to pull to the side of the road to commit his next midnight murder, 2 celebrating drunks wander in front of his car. Or more accurately, he steers towards them, causing him to stop. Lay takes this as her cue to exit and makes her escape running off into the woods. But the creepy Score and Evil are in hot pursuit. We even get some more knockoff key. He loses her, but happens upon some bleachers to a park's baseball field or something, and begins tapping on them with his blade, creepily, trying to cause her to panic so he can find her. But we hear some sirens, and the cops pull up to his abandoned car, and the drunks seem none too pleased that he threatened them earlier and send them off in Evil's direction to find him. The music is slow and eerie as he continues to slowly walk the length of the bleachers, tapping on them, before reaching the end and kicking over a trash can toward her hiding place underneath this building/maintenance shed thing.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Or something like that. Yeah.
And it's another nice tension building scene as he's slowly tapping on them and moving forward. He spots her hiding under the building's support structure after he kicks over the trash can, and he slowly closes in, tapping the blade against it with more intensity and an unhinged look on his face. However, before he can skewer her, the cops call out to him and he runs off to save his own skin. Holy shit, a woman who showed her breasts in a horror movie lived? What's the world coming to?
1980s, Cold War. What?
Where would that come from?
I don't know.
That means Evil missed a scheduled kill, too. It ruined the theme of the movie. Maybe the biker kill counts. It was a little before midnight, but Back at the studio, more cops show up, and the lieutenant makes a statement during commercial break to the crowd that anyone leaving the room won't be allowed back in, and all access to the floor has been sealed off. They just heckle and boo him and tell him to get out of here. I can relate to this guy. Dolores tells us to get the hell out of here all the time. Lousy hag.
She can really tell you to get out of here when you're rummaging through her trunk.
Backstage, Blade scolds him for scaring the guest. But the lieutenant says it was their psychologist. Knockoff Robert Stack's idea. Guy sounds a little bit like Robert Stack here. Knockoff Robert Stack says that on tonight's episode of Unsolved Mysteries, we have to consider the real possibility that Evil is coming to the studio for his Pacific Standard Time midnight kill. He continues with an update that he has a compulsion to kill on the hour with Blaze as the link. And it's building to a grand climax with his final kill being Blaze herself. Look, great value stack. The movie only has 27 minutes left. Of course the climax is coming up. And who else do we think is going to be the final victim, or attempted final victim? During this, knockoff Ferris Bueller shows up backstage, still wearing the red stockings on his head and face, along with some visor sunglasses that look like RoboCop's eye visor. I don't know there, knockoff Ferris. I think your Power Ranger cosplay needs a little bit of work there. Budget Stack adds that the killer mutilates the breasts of his victims, indicating that it is a common characteristic of a psychopath with a mother fixation. But the lieutenant doesn't care. They're going to stop him before he gets anywhere near her.
I don't think it did it to all of his victims.
No, and it never really shows it, so you know what I mean?
I think it shows it one time.
Yeah.
I think it does it to the
never
nurse.
Get a... When Lisa slides down...
when the dead nurse, right? Yeah.
And when Lisa slides down the slide, there is a mark on her breast.
Oh, okay.
But it's not an easy pattern to pick up on. It doesn't, like, pop out at you. So yeah, Lieutenant doesn't care. He's not letting anybody get near her. And with the likes of not one, but two officers with stashes better than Scary Perry guarding the front door, I'm sure she is in good hands. So one of these guys is actually that security guard from earlier.
You see the shitty cup of coffee in my hand? I'm going to throw it at you.
There are a lot of mustaches in this one. So a late arriving punk shows up, wanting to get in, and insisting that he has to get in by midnight. That's not suspicious at all. He's even carrying a radio just like Evil's. Unfortunately, it's impossible to have a red herring at this point in the movie. Speaking of Evil, he hitchhiked his way here and sees the punk making a commotion at the front entrance, trying to force his way in. So he decides to try the entrance in the parking deck, but it's guarded too. One of the police officers heads inside, leaving the one alone by himself. Evil takes this time to lure out the officer by hiding behind a pillar and yelling out to the cop and asking for his help because he's found a drunk. Oldest trick in the book. Needless to say, the cop wanders over, despite the ominous music kicking in, and he's greeted with a brick over his head for his troubles. The cop kind of looks like and reminds me of a grown-up version of the one husky, bulky basketball player from Teen Wolf. I think he's the only actor to reprise his role other than Michael J. Fox's father from Teen Wolf and Teen Wolf 2.
I know.
Which is kind of funny.
I just can't think of the name, but yeah.
He's been in some other stuff.
Yeah. He's in Pee-wee movies, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched those movies. But I know he's in Teen Wolf 1, Teen Wolf 2, and a few other things.
Yeah.
In the studio, Made in Japan is back up with their song Bonsai. Wow, an actual Japanese themed name for a song for the band. Too bad it doesn't sound like it has a Japanese influence whatsoever in it. In the meantime, Evil has stolen the officer's uniform and uses it to head inside, unhindered, duping another officer with a mustache better than Scary Perry's. The mustachioed members of the force came out in force today for this one. Inside, we're greeted by a Tempo magazine stinger as Evil steps out of an elevator and heads over to a conveniently placed trunk with some spare clothes for him to change into. Backstage again, Blaze decides she's heading back down to her room for a while, but knockoff officer Mahoney decides she's not going anywhere alone since he found out over his radio that one of his fellow officers was knocked out and the killer could be in the building. Bum bum bum. In the room, knockoff Mahoney sweeps the room while the piano just creepily plays the same one note over and over. He points his gun at knockoff Ferris, but Blaze tells him that he's her son. Looks like the ghost of Ben Tramer saved another innocent bystander from being wrongfully murdered again. But with how weird this kid is, can we be sure this kid doesn't go crazy himself? Blaze apologizes, stating that she forgot he was there, and he counters back that, hasn't she always? In his defense, it does seem like she just cares about herself. He storms off in anger. It seems like it's knockoff Ferris Bueller's off day, am I right? As opposed to his day off. Blaze tells Discount Mahoney that she is going to get changed, so he leaves the room, leaving her all alone. Or so we think. But we get a Tempo magazine stinger as the most terrifying thing you could ever see steps out from the bathroom doorway. Richard Nixon in a tracksuit brandishing a switchblade. Wait, a Richard Nixon mask? Did I put on Point Break by mistake here? Also, was the costume shop out of William Shatner masks? And speaking of Tricky Dick, what do you think of the president, Scary Perry?
I do like Dick.
I mean, the whole Watergate thing didn't upset you a little bit? I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I don't think you really
school system I went to was horrible, and I know shit about Watergate. If you really want the truth.
Anyways, back on track. He puts the knife away before Blaze notices him in her dressing room mirror and gasps. But he pulls off the mask, and it's Evil. Oh no, it's Evil! Quick, Blaze, run away! But she breathes a sigh of relief, telling Richard that he startled her. Wait, Richard, her husband, is evil? Bum, bum, bum! They kiss and make up, and he goes and lets the cop know that he's there so he doesn't get shot too soon and end this movie 20 minutes early. He tells the cop he was in the John. Man, Perry, don't you miss that John over at the gas station that exploded and burnt down?
I do.
Poor gas station bathroom. 2022 to 2022. It only lasted a year. He says he drove up from Palm Springs as soon as he heard that crazy guy, wink wink, on the radio and was afraid there might be some trouble. And boy is there, as she fills him in about the murders and that they think evil is after her. Well, then it's a good thing he isn't in the same room as her right this minute. Oh, wait. He offers to stay with her, but she says she'll be all right and tells him to go find their son, saying she'll see them both after the show. She's completely engrossed with putting on her makeup and doesn't even look at him, which I don't think goes over too well with him. He leaves, and Budget Mahoney wants to know how he got in a locked-down building, and evil Richard tells him that her agent okayed it, but Mahoney isn't buying that story and rears in that he wants something checked out after Evil leaves. Richard heads back down to his trunk and opens a conveniently placed electrical panel that controls the elevator and fiddles around with it. I'm sure that's not going to come up later. Meanwhile, the lieutenant is on the phone and receives some hot cake information. A Mercedes belonging to Richard Sullivan was found at a drive-in, and he knifed a biker and took a girl hostage. The lieutenant inquires if he's a relation to Blaze, and her agent tells him he's her husband. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, wait, we already had a bum, bum for that.
We did.
But wait, there's more, as Billy Mays would say. They checked the records at the sanitarium, and Richard was a patient there. Then an officer shows up and says the husband was in Blaze's suite, and that the agent okayed it, but he vehemently denies it, adding that he always knew that bastard was crazy. What was the giveaway? The fact that he was in a nut house? They head off to find him while Blaze and her officer guard enter the elevator to head back to the studio. But Richard is watching them on the closed-circuit television and fiddles with the control panel to make the elevator stop, then descend at an out-of-control pace while the suspenseful music plays. Before it can crash to the bottom, Richard has it screech to a stop on his floor and open the doors. He gives Bargain Bin Mahoney a low kick to the face to knock him out, then drags him into the hall so he can be alone with Blaze in the elevator. Out of sorts, Blaze asks what happened, but all she can think about is getting back to the show. However, Richard tells her that unfortunately the show is going to have to go on without her, and he has a surprise for her. Richard, based on her response to her son, I don't think she cares about your surprise. Oh wait, that's the whole point. He takes out his radio and plays her the recording of his New Year's countdown murder, remarking, "Instant replay, miracle of modern technology, and yet we still can't get calls on the field right in sports." A worried look consumes Blaze's face as she realizes her own husband is evil. But why did he do it? Because he's fed up with her shit, adding that she is just like every other lady in his life. I guess great value Robert Stack was right about the mother issues, huh? He continues that Derek told him about how she acts around other men, like the blonde punk that wants to bone her, and how she tries to turn on her own son. Okay, this just got really weird. Also, who the hell is Derek? Oh, that's right, generic brand Ferris. I forgot he had a real name for a moment. I'm so used to calling him Ferris Bueller. His diatribe goes on, saying that ladies aren't very nice people, are manipulative, deceitful, immoral, etc. The list goes on and on. You forgot petty, too. So, the guy's an incel, I guess? I guess that's what people call him. And he thinks he has been getting shortchanged and has to beg for every cent he gets from her. She denies it, but that just makes Richard angry, so it's time to break out the switchblade and the eerie music, adding that she castrated him, and she is trying to do the same thing to their son, and he's not going to take it anymore. Turns out, him and Derek had a conversation while waiting for her, but she just looks at him with this blank look on her face like, duh. It's pretty funny looking. Since she can't be bothered with anyone other than herself, Richard lets her know that Derek auditioned for the lead role in the Ferris Bueller TV show, and he got the part without using the recognition of his last name. Blaze tells him he's sick, and that's exactly the thing you want to tell a lunatic wielding a knife, right? So Richard opens the blade and tells her he's had a very bad year. Hey, at least it's almost over, buddy. Midnight is going to start the first day of his new life, and he's going to Disney World. No, he's going to the Rose Bowl with his son. Not what I would have chosen, but that's still okay too. But they're going to let mom sleep in, wink wink.
I wonder who's playing that year.
I don't know. It's harder to imagine him getting weirder, but he does as he puts his ear to her chest and says he doesn't like hearing her heart beating, as he menacingly scrapes the knife along the wood paneling. He finally grabs her and pulls her out of the elevator. Meanwhile, the Fuzz is patrolling the hotel, checking the hallways and rooms, and even the kitchen, as Officer Stash Better Than Scary Perry's passes by a large microwave oven. I bet you can have a pretty big massacre with that thing, huh? Get it? Also, I know, people, it's actually just a regular industrial oven, but I wanted to make a reference there, people. Back with Blazing Evil, he uses the knife to flick off her earrings as she hyperventilates. He tells her to shush, but the music tells me that is the opposite of what she should be doing. He puts some handcuffs on her and starts to get handsy with her. I don't like the direction this is going. He seems to be getting a little bit too Weinstein-y for me. He presses a switch to raise the elevator up, then chains and cuffs her to the underneath of the elevator, so that way she can go all the way up and then come down like the ball drop just in time for the Pacific Standard Time New Year's countdown. He calls it her going away party and tells her to get smashed. Yeah. Aw, man, that's a pretty good lame joke there. I wish I would have thought of that one.
Get smashed.
Richard starts to fiddle with the control panel again and sends Blaze up to the top floor, dangling from the bottom of the elevator. Once at the top, we get a Tempo magazine stinger as she glances over to discover the corpse of Yvonne, which honestly isn't that great of an effect. It's just like her head, it's pale, and it's got like some dried blood on it.
Yeah.
Richard then starts her drop of doom as she just screams, with a hired drunk couple inside the elevator hearing and trying to press the emergency stop button. Oh, so how the hell did they get in there so fast? Because obviously there was no one in there because he sent it all the way up. So at the very top, they must have gotten on and then the elevator doors must have opened when they sent her to the top. It's so weird. Also, while this guy's mustache is barely there, it's barely better than Scary Perry's.
Huh?
It is still better.
What?
I swear, I feel like that was the casting call for this. People with mustaches.
Oh, I would have been in for sure.
Oh, yeah, you would, but you probably could have been this guy. You could have cameoed as him. Maybe if they remake this movie, you can audition to be that guy in the elevator.
That's it? Just the elevator guy?
Yeah, just
not a cop.
Quick cameo.
Not a.
For it to be a cameo, it had to be
Not a cokehead in the disco lounge.
You can also be the tickets guy. Tickets.
That's it?
Can I have your tickets?
I can't be the cokehead.
Tickets.
Well,
Tickets.
Too fat to be a cokehead.
Tickets.
But you know what I mean.
Can I have your tickets, please? Tickets. Let's see your tickets.
Tickets. Hey, look. Coffee. In your face.
However, Richard hears some footsteps running down the metal stairs and takes out his gun and starts a shootout with the lieutenant and the police.
Oh, smart. That's smart.
They never hit him despite the fact that he stands out in the open front of the doorway when he returns fire. This guy is dodging bullets like Ernest P. Worrell up in here. The cops do manage to inadvertently shoot up the control panel, causing the elevator to come to a halt before Blaze can be flattened like a pancake. Great, that just made me think of how Dolores still hasn't brought me my short stack yet. Come on, Dolores, where's my short stack of pancakes? Lazy bitch.
I also have food in this diaper. You want some?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just.
I'm not badum-chinging that. That's just disgusting.
Well, why would you badum-chick that?
I don't know. You say weird and sometimes funny shit.
You just want to eat shit?
Well, we are in shit city, right?
Yeah.
It's like Full Metal Jacket. Life's just a big shit sandwich, and everybody's got to take a bite, or whatever that line is from that movie.
What's your favorite pancake is the BM stack.
What's wrong with you? Oh. So Evil runs off and the police follow him up the stairwell. But oh no, Officer Stash takes a bullet to the shoulder from Richard.
What?
He was just 2 days till retirement. They follow him to the roof and there is nowhere left for him to run. So he dons his Richard Nixon mask. Cornered, the cops tell him to drop his weapons, which he does. But when told to put his hands on his head, he recites some Shakespeare.
Some Hamlet.
That's right. To die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. I preferred the Arnold version of Hamlet better, but hey, this is filling out my top quote scorecard very nicely. He slowly turns to jump off the edge of the roof, but Lieutenant tells him, don't even think about it. And when has telling someone not to jump ever worked? Never? Well, that track record is still intact, as Richard turns and hops over the edge, sending another poor member of Andrew McCarthy's extended family to their destruction. I love the way this dummy looks coming down. One arm's like this going one way and the other arm's like this going this way. Like he's he's doing a backstroke or something.
It was.
Down below, a crowd gathers around Richard's corpse, and Knockoff Ferris is back and mourns over his dead father's body as he embraces it, taking with him the Nixon mask before being pulled off of him. The music suddenly gets ominous as rage engulfs Derek's face. Uh-oh, I feel a swerve ending coming up.
No.
Blaze is taken by stretcher and loaded into an ambulance by paramedic, better stash than Scary Perry, and he gives the driver the okay to head out. I told you, man, that's all the cast is. Well, geez, you're getting... Dude, they're going to throw you out of here. J-Bones.
Who's going to throw me out?
J-Bones is going to throw you out there. He's going to get his...
There's no enforcer
He's
going to
get his bony bones over here and grab you and toss you out of here.
It's Murky Balls around here. There's nobody around here.
He gives the driver the okay to head out, but we pan to the driver's seat and get one last Tempo magazine stinger as Derek is in the driver's seat wearing the Nixon mask, and we have kill number 6, driving without a license. To kill. We continue to pan over to discover that the driver, another paramedic with a mustache, also better than Scary Perry's, had his throat slit. Man, like I said earlier, the casting call for this movie must have said, mustache not needed, but highly recommended. As the ambulance drives off, we get a shot of the city skyline as we get one final radio broadcast announcing it's now midnight in Hawaii. Maybe Derek killed Blaze to his own countdown for Hawaii? Then the theme song, New Year's Evil, begins to play again, rocking out, and it's time to roll the credits. And that is the end of New Year's Evil. So, before we take the last bite, you got any fun facts for us, Perry?
Yeah, I got couple little things, not like insanely too much. Let's see what I got here. Real quick, I was a jeweler. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where that line comes in.
Yeah, I gotta find that line.
It wasn't notable enough for me to write it down either.
Yeah, I don't have too much. The director appeared in one scene as a camera operator. He might have been that guy you thought it was George.
Yeah, it could be.
All right.
Oh, so he's knocked off George Romero. We'll have to call him that.
Budget
guy.
of this movie is $500,000. I do not know how much it made. 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb. 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. Fan score 15% lower. Would you have the kill count at?
6.
Yeah. They say body count 7.
Yeah, like I said, I never count the killer because
Yeah.
the killer is the person that's supposed to be defeated at the end. So it's
about all I got for any factoids. It was released 12 days before New Year's Eve in 1980.
yeah, perfect timing. All right, well,
Go ahead, my
if
friend.
that's it, it's time to take the last bite. New Year's Evil is a decent holiday-themed slasher that takes you back to the wild fashions and styles of the 80s punk scene. Roz Kelly, right? That's her name.
I think, yep.
I put Roz Blaze.
Yeah, that's
I put Roz Blaze by mistake. So Roz Kelly gives a solid performance as the self-centered MC Blaze, but the show is really stolen by the rest of her family. Kip Niven's Evil, or Richard, ironically steals the spotlight from Blaze. With the creepy voice-altered phone calls and his ability to lure in unsuspecting women with his charm and personality before carving them up. Their basket case son, no, not Belial, different movie franchise. Not that this is a franchise. But Derek gives us some more scene-stealing moments with his bizarre behavior, which leads to a very predictable but fun swerve ending. The effects are okay, but nothing spectacular, and are mostly minimal with just some blood and slashes on victims. The score is just okay too. It's pretty much your typical slasher score, but what does stand out is the live music, which has some pretty sweet songs, including the awesome titular New Year's Evil, despite the fact that they aren't very punk or new wavy for a punk/new wave themed slasher. Plus, the film moves along at a pretty good pace and never drags or feels boring, even though a lot of the musical scenes are kind of filler for the film. Overall, New Year's Evil is a fun slasher, even though it doesn't add anything new to the genre in terms of clever kills or clever plot twists or clever themes. While it's probably the best New Year's theme slasher, if there even are any other New Year's theme slasher, it's not the best slasher to take place on New Year's, with Terror Train still holding that honor in my view, till I watch something better. Still, I love the theme of a killer striking at the stroke of midnight on New Year's, and it's executed decently in this film. I would gladly watch it again to ring in the new year anytime. Overall rating, I give this one 3 pancakes. Definitely worth a watch and occasional repeat viewing, like I said, to ring in the new year.
Alrighty.
And now, Scary Perry, time for you to take your last bite.
Where do I begin? All right. Some bad stuff of the movie. Yeah, like you said, the twist ending was kind of, you saw it kind of coming. It's kind of cheesy, and some of the parts were cheesy in the movie, and some of the production, I know they had a $500,000 budget, wasn't the greatest. But like on the contrast to that, though, with the kills, sometimes less is more, like you said, and I think they did a good job with that. The director and the cinematographer.
Yeah, they shot him very stylishly for being very not violent.
As far as the acting, to me, everybody was not very good except Kip Niven as Blaze as Evil. He stood out. This was I really like his performance. And the scene with the blondes, it was funny. He was just, I don't know, the way he presented himself, talked, act, his kills. He just did a really good job in it. And like you said, some of the music was, kind of stock. But besides when they do in the live music, of course, the theme song was really catchy. I'd throw that on any, I'd throw that on my regular playlist rotation because it's so catchy. I'm a fan of catchy music.
They should play it for the New Year's countdown in Times Square every year.
It's good. It's really good. So with that all said, though, would I recommend watching this movie? Yes. Is it the best? Like if you're going, categorically New Year's, like obviously I've only seen one other one, New Year's horror movie. No, that's Terror Train, the original, not any of the other two. Yeah, this movie surpasses those other two.
Yeah, I think
I
can only really think of this movie and those being New Year's themed slashers. There's other New Year's themed horror movies.
Yeah,
but I can't think of any other slashers.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that's still the best New Year's slasher that takes place on New Year's, even though it doesn't really have a New Year's theme. Like they aren't counting down to New Year's or anything.
But like I was saying, I thought it was out of print. I guess it is in print, but not by Shout Factory or their subsidiary Scream Factory or Scream whatever.
Yeah, it's probably the better release to have.
I don't know, but it still says that there's a 2K remaster or whatever. I was just looking at it.
Who released it?
Which is KL something?
KL Studios?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're
might be, I think, something I might want to watch because I didn't, like I said, it's still probably not going to look great, and I couldn't hear everything right, but
surprisingly, for the way we watched it, I thought it looked pretty good.
It was okay on YouTube, yeah.
It actually looked really
some
good.
Parts, but I think it might be better. But anyways, though, to digress, as a whole, though, yeah, I would recommend watching this. I wouldn't steer somebody away. But is it the best thing? No. But it has enough to be, an okay film. And with that said, I'm going to give it 3 cannolis out of 5.
Yeah. It's just a solid slasher. Like I said, it's nothing fancy. It's just a fun little film. It's not going to wow your socks off, but it's entertaining. And like I said, it's a good watch for New Year's.
Yeah.
With that was our review of New Year's Evil from 1980. So, you have anything else to add before we sign off here, Scary Perry?
I want to know who the jeweler is and why I wrote that down.
Yeah, this is why I try to take the best notes I can. So, because I know I have a very good memory, but little details like that, if I just write down, I have tons of handwritten notes over there for other stuff. And if I don't write down the context, I'll really look and I'm like trying to remember what the hell did I write this word down for and what's it mean. I do the same thing. So. But with that, so you could find us on social media at I'm the Mad Pancaker on pretty much everything. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can check out my YouTube channel, The Mad Pancaker. Not a whole lot going on right now, but hopefully more in the future. You can check out the website, www.themadpancaker.com, where you can find my blogs about horror movies. You can find all of our podcast episodes there as well. If you're cruising your computer, surfing the internet, Perry, they can find you on Facebook at Perry Scary, correct?
Yes. Not to be confused with a Halloween store in
right. We have to
Illinois.
Clarify that every time.
I'm on OnlyFans as the jeweler. No, I'm just joking.
Right. You can help support the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/themadpancaker. And shout out to our 2 patrons, my brother AJ and good old J Bones. So there are different tiers. $2 tiers of bare minimum gets you in the door, and you can vote in our votes where you can. In fact, this was one that was voted on by the fans.
Yes.
So while we do have some polls that are public available on Facebook and stuff that you can vote on, your votes always count for double on Patreon. So, and you can even cheese the vote and vote on Facebook and on Patreon. So you got that going for you.
You get the extra votes.
That's right. And at the $5 tier, you can write one of the infamous spoiler entries that we do, so to kick off the episode. And at $10, you can pick a movie for us to review. So, and I think I'm going to try to add some more, maybe try to add some like updates so you can get we always kind of hint at what episode we're doing next. Or in the voting, you get to hear what episode we might be doing. We might potentially be doing by looking at the votes, but might do a little layout chart where you can see what's in the works, what we're planning on doing in future months, that type of deal. So you get exclusive updates. Going to have to do a few posts like that, giving you updates on what the podcast is looking to do in the future. And last but not least, want to plug the voicemail. So at anchor.fm/themadpancaker or at themadpancaker.com, you can call and leave us a voicemail. Feel free to ask us any questions. We want to hear your voicemails, people. We'll have to come up with a clever name for that segment. Also, breakfast pancake related. I haven't thought of anything yet to call it. We haven't had any yet, but we want to hear your questions. You can ask us about random horror stuff or just anything in general. Whatever you want to hear us talk about, we'll answer your question. Keep it short, keep it appropriate. Don't go too off the rails on the terror train like we do.
Don't Weinstein it.
Yeah. Don't be creepy. Or be creepy, I don't know. It might be funny that way. You know who we should get to call in and do a recording?
Who?
Charles. That'd be the best. Just get him to go on some crazy rant.
About dragons.
I feel like more people need to know about Charles being a thing.
Is there dragon horror movies?
Dragons. Anyways, on that note, I'm the Mad Pancaker.
And I'm Scary Perry.
Join us next time for another cult classic starring Jennifer Aniston in one of her early film roles, where she'll be needing her lucky charms to get out alive.
Oh boy.
Until next time, check please.
Dolores!
House of Horror.